excited to be here to do
My name
this.
is Laura Foster.
Guitar player extraordinaire slash resident fun guy at Northside Baptist
Tree
Church.
O'Quinn. I'm actually Charlie's cousin.
Bill Baker. Eddie
Baines Blanton. I'm a junior at Lowndes High
Drew
School.
Peterson. I'm a student at Lowndes High School.
Alright, welcome back to the podcast, and today I have Jacob Conger on. Man, I'm so glad to have you on.
Yeah. Well,
what's up, man?
What's up? Thanks for having me on. Yeah, been here at Northside for a while now, all 14 years.
Yeah, man.
Proud youth band member. Youth choir.
Yeah, you're in both. Dude, that's hard to juggle. You got a
I
voice,
know, it's
and
like-
you can play guitar too.
Well, it's like testing out. Let me
Yeah.
grab the opportunities, you know.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's so cool, that you're able to do both, and we'll get into it later. But now that you're not technically you don't live here anymore, but you're still, but you're still active at Northside, which is really, really cool.
Which is.
But what is your testimony? How did you, come to Christ, man?
All right. Yeah. Well, as you said, I'm Jacob Conger, and I've been going to Northside or church for all 14 years of my life.
Yeah.
I was saved at 6, which 6 years old. Yeah. September 20th, which is also my sister's birthday, which is kind of funny because
nice.
my parents used to took me to Books A Million to get me something or a Bible case for it, and my sister would be like, "Why does he get someone on my birthday?"
Right.
I really didn't know what getting saved meant. I just knew everyone I looked up to was getting saved or was saved. I got baptized by my dad, but I never really knew what it meant. Fast forward 3 years, I'd fallen away from Christ. My uncle, that was 5 years older than me, we were really close. He died. I never really understood why, because if I was living my life for Christ and he was, why he would pass away.
Right. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was.
If you're life is going good, you're both living your lives for Christ, then what in the world?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I got you.
I was still going to church, but I, never had a real connection. I just thought I could do it by myself. I started acting like the world. I wasn't doing anything, but it definitely showed. I just thought I could do it by myself.
Yeah.
I started... Oh, crap.
You're fine.
I was at Northside Baptist Church hearing Rick Coren preach about hell and the prodigal son. It was pretty convincing to me. I walked down the aisle and rededicated my life to Christ on August 30th, 2021.
Nice.
I found out later I cannot do it by myself, and that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's why he died on the cross. God has shown me maybe something happens for a reason. Yeah, something happens for a reason that we do not need to know. Something that happens for God's plan. That's not our plan, but it's God's plan.
Yeah. Amen. And there's so many times where, you may get discouraged by something, and you're like, God, why in the world did you let this certain thing happen?
Yeah.
But you don't know what he saved you from, right? And that's the way that it should have happened. And we'll get into this later too, but say some of the roads on Savannah when we were in Savannah, right?
Yeah.
Especially at nighttime, they were a little hard to navigate.
They were.
Well, me and my mom, she missed 2 exits. Okay. And we were struggling, but the thing about it was, we missed it twice. But the thing about it was we had to think about what if there was an accident just a few minutes, and we missed it, by missing that exit right then or whatever. So you have to look at it that way, But man, you like you said, you've been here at Northside all your life.
I have. Yep.
But when it comes to testimony, is there any more to that, or do you... No?
No, not really.
Okay. Cool. So, how and if you know from your family, how in the world did you and your family land on Northside as a church?
So my dad, me and mom, they got married. They were originally from Moultrie. They came here and moved. They were looking for churches and. They were here at the beginning.
Yeah, at the very beginning.
They were here when they were getting ready to have Pastor Robbie come.
Yeah, so they've really seen...
Yeah, they've seen a lot.
They've seen a lot.
He was the financial advisor for the church.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, because and Pastor Jeff told me a little bit, people are coming in now and they don't understand that history of where Northside came from, because if people don't know that are listening... Northside's not always been where it's out with 1,000 members. People getting baptized every Sunday. It went through some hard times. With pastors and different worship leaders and all that. But God, showed He brought broken people to a broken church and put us all together. and
That's
now
right.
look where we're at now, and it's so awesome to see. But what got you playing guitar? of all things?
Well, number one, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Seeing people play. My dad played. He was like, "I want you to start guitar." So, talked to Mr. Jeff. He taught me acoustic.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That's really so. I've always wondered, like, y'all's relationship, because it seems like you're pretty close in terms of like with an instrument, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also that was shown to me, obviously, on the Savannah trip, and also just youth choir and everything. I can tell, that like you guys, have a bond. And
Yeah,
it's really
me,
cool.
Mr. Jeff, and D-Dog, Mr. Jeff, D-Dog, and Noah Blunt have been really good mentors.
Yeah,
for sure.
Amen to that. I think, and you can say that for any of the youth, not just they have mentored all of us in our own unique ways. That if we're doing different things, they're there to support us on whatever it is. And if we need help, they're always here, which is such a blessing, because not every church has that.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's so awesome. So what impact has the Northside Student Ministry, and these are kind of two separate questions, but what has its youth ministry had on you, like the impact it's had, as well as the student band?
I'll start with the student ministry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like it's been very rewarding.
Yeah.
Serving God. I mean, even if we've had hard times, especially, but I feel like we've ultimately,
because you've seen it, like you said at the beginning, when there was 5 kids. I mean, I'm just
it's amazing how the youth about to shut its doors. It's blooming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it slows down during the summer months, but still
It does. Yeah.
Towards the end of the school year, we had a consistent 100 people coming every night.
I think so.
Which
little bit
is
more.
So awesome. We're filling up the big room in there.
We are.
Which is.
I'm like, no, we need to expand.
It's like, we need to expand again. Already. Just knock some of the life group rooms out. We got to expand again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and what's it like playing on a Wednesday night for all those kids, for the youth band?
It's great. I feel like, to me, it's like a family.
Yeah.
The youth band, it's also great, Kirsten, because you know me. I'm like a squirrel, like bing, bing, bing.
Yeah, she keeps you focused.
Yeah, I know. She's really kind, and she's also not afraid to tell you, do this, it don't sound good.
Yeah.
It's
that's
great.
good.
Yeah.
You need
that's
that.
What you need.
You need
as
that
a youth
kindness,
band
but you
leader.
also need that firmness of, hey, you got to change that.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Me and Baines have talked to Christian. Of course, he's in the youth band too. I could see him saying that to some kids, like looking leaning over, going, "That didn't sound good. You got to change that up right now." But, that's so awesome to see. Because I feel like she's really in her element when she does it.
She is.
I've kind of sat in and watched her work with you guys a little bit, and even though sometimes she may come off as like the quiet person, she is working.
She's always
awesome.
working. If she's not working, she's helping somebody work.
Yeah.
Especially.
And I think too, ever since Noah became the youth pastor, I'm not saying it's like the Noah and Kirsten show by no means, but it's so cool to see them kind of work together in like the same ministry, or different ways. But with him being the pastor, and then her working with the youth band as well, with D-Dog and everything. That's so awesome to see young people helping other young people succeed, in church. And dude, y'all do a wonderful job, especially in the big room now with better sound and everything. Yeah, kill it.
It's really cool because Kirsten, it's crazy. She plays a couple different instruments, and she can find the key and be like, do this, do that, and it just fits perfectly. Yeah, it's very cool.
And that's why we needed her when we were preparing for Savannah. It's like, we need your help. You may not be going, but we need your help, please. But what impact, and we could probably talk about this for another hour, but what impact did the Savannah Mission trip have on you?
Oh, Lord.
We just went, by the way, at the time of recording this, that we're doing VBS right now, it was last
4
week.
days?
4 days? 4 days ago? 4 or 5 days ago? Yep.
It was hard.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the word. I think it was challenging.
Yeah. When I did the post, when I did a post on it, I said the 2 words that I just used to describe it was adapt and overcome.
That was a good word.
Because we had to,
We did.
Because a lot of people, if you, I don't know if you've ever been to a church plant that are listening, but me and Jacob, we went to this church plant in Savannah, and, it was not what I think any of us expected. We pulled up, and just because we are from
Well, we're from like a big church, big
Right.
youth room, big kids program, and
We're used to big
Yeah.
things, right?
well, not big things, more. You know what I'm saying?
Right, well, more people and things.
I
like
also
that,
went to the other Savannah Mission trip, and
yeah,
we had like 50 kids, and it was
yeah,
kind of an eye-opening experience for me. Being like, oh, this is what they have to put up with. Let's keep our spirits up. Let's
right.
have a good weekend.
So compared to like in terms of like growth, would you say that you've grown better on this, like more on this one compared to the 2 years ago, or was it kind of equal, or like?
I think I was younger.
Yeah.
Younger, I think.
So you didn't? Do you think you understood it as much?
Yeah, I think I think I was able to take it in, especially because it was a move-in.
Yeah.
And it was
Right,
very.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you still got the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
You know? And it was kind of funny. I was like, because I know that Jeff, like a few days before, he's like, texted my mom. She's like, "Hey, we got to pick up Jacob at the Brunswick." I'm like, "We got to what?" But I thought that was so funny. But I was like, "All right, let's do it." And but it's so cool that they're still including you and stuff like that. It
is.
And you got to play guitar, in front of people you've never seen, in new locations like the soup kitchen, which
that was so intimidating. Props to who was it? It was Kaylin and Audrey.
Yeah.
I may be mixing up the twins if you're
sorry
listening.
about
I'm
that.
sorry. I was very impressed because we walked in there and there was a bunch of dudes right there just sitting there.
Yeah. And I would say the only thing that was intimidating for me was when we walked, like we're walking inside.
I agree. Yeah, that was.
Now when we walked in, it was fine. Like I was still, my head was on the swivel still because I'm like, what's outside could come inside, whatever. Because it's and I'm not like saying that to be like rude or anything, but it's a new area that none of us have been in, and we don't know what the environment's like.
But it was kind of the hood.
It was.
It was.
I mean, you're not lying. Yeah. It was, and so we're all kind of a little bit on edge just a tad. We've never done something like that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I've not, anyway, and 'cause I've served people, but not like that. But I'll tell you the two things that were, I had fun with it, but it was like out of my comfort zone was doing that, and then out of door to door, because you don't know who you're gonna run into, because you don't like, especially I was thinking I'm glad Noah went with the twins because we were split off into groups. I'm like, because we don't know who was gonna open that door. Might have a ravenous dog.
Yeah, Yeah, I feel like it's good that they made a guy go with a girl.
Yeah. And me and Micah were like, we were just talking. Like, if they didn't walk up to the door, we were talking the whole time, which is kind of bad. But like, I was trying to hype him up because he was doing most of the talking. I said, "All right, Micah, come on, you got this."
Yeah, me and Miss Kim, it was like, and Miss Kim was like, Miss Kim was just there.
Yeah.
She was.
And I know that she was telling me that she could see like your confidence rise each house, which is really cool, to see. But I'll tell you too, in the way that we all adapted in terms of VBS, so cool.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, having one kid, because we've, like today we had, or like yesterday we had like 350, right here at Northside's VBS, but now we, then we had to go from one kid to that, and it was like just this week has been like an adjustment, because I'm like, because I'm thinking about last week, and I'm like, man, it's just crazy, how things worked out. But she got saved at the end of the week.
That was
so
very, very cool.
And I think what was neat was that we weren't told to kind of like Jeff and them. They didn't really say, "Hey, be the students and the teachers." We just kind of, as a youth group, just did that ourselves.
It was, honestly, first day. No kids showed up. 10:30. We're holding signs. It's hot. I'm ready to go. Yeah. Let's be honest. And then we see that first car pull up, and I was like, "Oh, okay.
Here we go."
And only one car showed up, but I feel like our spirits just continued to rise even every challenge.
And I think what was so neat about this mission trip in particular, because we were able to serve youth, and we're able to serve adults.
Yeah.
That was what the cool thing about it was. It wasn't just one demographic of people. But I'll tell you, some of that traffic, bro. Oh my gosh, it had my mom on her hands.
It was every morning. I was like, oh my gosh.
And I don't know how people drive through it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just like God was saying, look, this is what they got to deal with. Look at this, But even though some of the stuff I was wondering if, like, because I'm just being honest, some of the stuff I was wondering, and I don't mean this in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like, is it going to drag people in? Is it going to draw people in? Like the signs. I mean, I enjoy doing it, but I was wondering, because people are trying to get to their destinations.
Well, I agree. I feel like...
But...
Yeah.
You know, was it rewarding in that way? If we were, you know, our spirits were still high and we were trying?
Yeah, I feel like that really brings the, or the saying, into come what may.
Yeah.
Into those.
Mm-hmm. And, but it was like so cool just to watch. Like my mom was saying, she was like, it's so cool to watch all of you guys work and just figure stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, you know, props to Pastor Jeff, Noah, and Daniel.
Oh, yeah.
They, you know, they helped us out along the way and kind of guided us, but they let us figure things out and figure out how to run the stations. And, you know, they gave us critique and whatnot, like, you know, and where it needed to be.
It was
they let us figure it out, which was so fun.
Yeah.
You know? And,
it was like Noah says, training up the next generation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, something I'll never forget. And I already want to go back. I'm gonna
Me
be like,
too.
Hey, I'm gonna be like, hey,
let's do another one.
You want to let a college kid like kind of help you out? Like, I'll come. Like, you know, all these kids. I look like a youth still.
Yeah.
Like, if I just shave, I look like a youth kid still. So, just let me come on. But so you know, we kind of talked about it earlier. But how has moving affected you? You know,
it's hard. You know.
Yeah.
I feel like. It's like I said on my testimony, it's God's plan. It's hard because you go for something that you love, just another church, and, you know, I have FOMO, fear of missing out, especially because I love everybody here at Northside. I feel like the youth, we're a big family. And it's like, nothing will ever be Northside, even if it's better or if it's worse.
Right.
I try to have that mentality, be like, just open minds.
Yeah. And you went, because you moved because, well, you know, it was a job thing with your dad, right? And also more opportunities for you because you play golf, right? Which I've not seen you play, but I've heard you're pretty good. Is that true? Like, you don't have to,
maybe. I try to be humble, honestly. Like, I may not be in other stuff, but
hey, that's cool. I mean, dude, you know, a guitar playing golfer, you know, that's a pretty neat title. If you say so myself, you know, that's cool, dude. Yeah. You know, 'cause at first I was thinking, it's like, man, what in the world? He's moving. He's like one of our lead guitarists. What are we gonna do? But you know, the fact that, like I said earlier, the fact that you're still coming in here, and your parents are still allowing, you know, they're still participating and everything, like, because we didn't know what your intentions were. You might have just, you know, went to Florida and just left. You know, we didn't know what your plans were. And,
I was like my dad, can we please go on the mission trips? Can we please go back for, like, VBS, youth camps? My thing is, I hope nobody forgets about me. Be like, show up.
No, we're not. You know, we are not going to do that. You kidding me? Especially if it's me and my mom, we're not going to forget. Trust me. It's like, when we got that, all I could think about is like, we got to make sure we get Jacob. It's like, we can't leave that kid. we can't leave him. Yeah. But, you know, and again, like I said, you know, props to Pastor Jeff for making that arrangement so that you could participate and all that. But when it comes to, you know, youth questions, when you look at the youth today, do you see hope or are you worried about the future?
You know, that it's a tough question. You know, I think there'll always be hope in anything if you think about it. But, it definitely, sin outweighs trueness or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I mean, there's always hope, but it's just the hope is gonna get darker and darker.
Right. Yeah. And
as long as we go, less and less.
You know, I'll tell you one thing. I know that this is something you haven't really experienced, or maybe you have. I'm not really sure, but you know, public school, right? That is something I got to see. You know, when I was in school, so much. You know, I mean, 'cause I remember when I was younger and I was in the public school system. I had no care in the world, you know. And then you start to get older, and the other people around you start to get older. And they have opinions, and you know it's great. You know, it's great to have opinions. If we have the same opinion, then this country and the world will be extremely boring. You know.
That's true.
And nothing would get done. But you know, there's more at least arguments and things like that. And you know, I see people, they are turning away from God. You know, and it's you know, and we've tried everything we can, but you know, it's some, you know, some people just don't want to hear it.
Well, I mean, it's not our job to save someone.
Right, it's not. And it's like, I'll tell you one thing for like, that was one of my fears, like Savannah, I guess, was like, some people would be like, and there was a few who were just like, no, I don't want to hear it. Did the twins tell you about the lady that she was pagan? It was like a Ring doorbell, and she just said, like, as they were walking away, she said, "Stay safe and good luck with all that jazz." And I thought that was so funny.
Well,
and I'm glad she was nice about it.
Yeah.
But it was so funny to me. It's like, she said all that jazz. That's
all
crazy.
That jazz. Well, the neighborhood that we went in, Jehovah Witnesses have been everywhere, so it was a little hostile just for.
Yeah, because they thought that. Yeah.
Jehovah Witnesses, I mean, they were like, "What's your denomination?"
Yeah.
And I like to be straightforward with anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Baptist.
Yeah. And that's what we had to. I don't remember if we may have had to do it one time. It wasn't as prominent question, because either some people just didn't answer the door because it was kind of late for some.
It was.
Or they just weren't interested. Or there was the occasional, they would take a pamphlet or something. Like me and Micah, we had this like really awesome older gentleman. He's a retired Marine. Answered the door, and he was like, I just love what you guys are doing. God bless you guys. Da, 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 da. I'm like, man, me and Micah, we left, and we were like, I could go back and have lunch with that kid or that guy. Like, I could go back and have lunch with him. He was so sweet. But what advice would you give to someone if they're struggling to navigate this world in a biblical way?
All right.
Yeah,
that's tough. I got 4. Okay. Number 1, change your music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't stress this enough. I used to listen to music that was bad.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing anything, but I was thinking it, and it would trouble me. I changed Christian music about a year ago. Trying to stay off of just normal. Yeah. It's been so beneficial. My thoughts are more cleaner.
Good.
I've been more joyful. I can't stress that enough. If you think, oh no, I won't do it, you will.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Number 2, read your Bible.
Yeah.
You got to read your Bible. Number 3, pray. No matter how much sin you did today.
Yeah.
No matter how much sin you will do tomorrow, you got to pray.
Good.
Number 4, you got to change your year round.
Yeah. I'm not like trying to rank them, but that's one of the most important. The way that especially with how young we both are and everything. Yeah. It's the influences, right? Because we're easily influenced. That's just the truth. Yeah.
Bad judgment corrupts good character.
Good character, right? And it just, and I've seen that especially with me being in public school. Yeah. I could feel my mood change. So on a Wednesday night, right? If I was, went to school that day, whatever. Sometimes I just wasn't feeling it,
Yeah.
And then I came here, bam, light switch, just flips. Yeah. And it's because of the people I'm around, and it's so great. But yeah, that's, and all of those things, 100%. I agree on it, and you're so right. So why do you think people, especially young people, they run away when they hear the name Jesus, like in a conversation or things like that?
I feel like in today's world, it's, you can be anything but a Christian. Yeah. And I feel like people value what this world thinks more than what God thinks or anything like that. I feel like
just look at the celebrities that they are Christian and they get dogged on. People just can't fathom the fact. But no, here's the thing: if it was like a person that was Islamic, right? It would be like, okay, cool, right? Which is really interesting. I don't know who told it to me, but I think it was might have been Nathan Faircloth. Maybe when he did his interview, he told me that at UGA there is, or might have been Georgia Tech. I don't remember which one. There is prayer rooms, but guess what? They're not for Christians. They're for Islam. They're for Islam. And I'm like, wow, that is really interesting.
It's crazy the world we live in now versus 30 years ago.
Yeah.
God didn't say being a Christian would be easy.
Nope.
He said the opposite. Every disciple except the one got murdered for their faith. One was going to die on a cross, but he said, I want to be put upside down because I don't want to be killed like my God got killed.
Right.
I feel like it's also hard for people because, they have to give up that sin. They don't want to feel convicted,
Oh, yeah. And cause people can hold on to that for years.
Yes.
And they're like, and they're also thinking, how in the world do I live with that? If I've been doing it for so long, how do I live without it? And that could be a real struggle for some, to get out of it. But one thing I will say this, if you're struggling with that, find an accountability partner. Yeah. That can really talk to you and, help you. And it doesn't have to be older. but I recommend it just because they have that
More
wisdom.
yeah.
You know, of they can pour into you and things like that. But man, you nailed that for sure.
Yeah.
So for my final question, if you could describe NBC in one word, what would it be and why? Yeah, this gets people thinking, and I've gotten some different ones over the.
Well, I've listened to it and I'd be like, what do I say? Right?
Yeah.
Every episode.
Yeah.
I would say friendly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's a
would
good
say.
one.
I know a lot of people say inviting. I don't want to dog anybody. I feel like it takes a little bit for someone to like join in.
It
You know what I'm
does.
saying?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. But friendly, definitely, you nailed that. Because one thing I've heard from many people, talking to them, even if it's off air or on air, they tell me all the time, they say that, when they joined in or they were just trying to find churches, maybe it didn't take long. About 6 people would always walk up to them every single Sunday. They went, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing?"
I feel like it's in a very alive church. I think every ministry is really blooming with, life.
Yeah. And one thing that's really refreshing is Pastor Robbie knows, that God cares about every ministry he's got.
Yeah.
And that he puts, resources into every single one of them. That none of them are not important.
That's right.
Everything from, the youth ministry all the way down to the kitchen staff is just equally as important as one another.
I mean, it all works together perfectly.
Right. And that's so cool to see, especially like one, prime example is the media ministry with the worship ministry.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the, the ones that really work close together.
Yeah.
And then the media ministry does everything else because they're promoting events from the other ministries. So it's so cool to watch all these different ministries work together. For sure. So, and then for one last thing I wanted to ask was, what are your life verses and why are they important to you?
Okay.
I know you had a few. That's why I said life verses, unless you changed it. But I know you had a few in Savannah. But I don't know if you changed it.
Yeah. I added one.
Cool.
So, John 16:33. I love this verse. It's ingrained in my mind now. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart. I have overcome the world. That is also part of hard times, hard trials.
Right.
That it's okay if you're persecuted. God has overcome the world. Psalms 34:18-19. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He rescues those whose spirits are crushed by the righteous person faces many troubles, but the Lord comes to rescue each time.
Love that one.
Love it. It's important to me because no matter how much tribulation, how much persecution I get, I know He'll rescue me each time.
Yeah.
Psalm 73:26. My flesh and heart may fail, but God is my strength and my heart and my portion.
Nice.
It's very easy. It's very easy for me to rely on myself because I'm a man, and you ask anybody here, I got a lot of pride, and it's hard to just try to battle that. And I gotta know God, He created me, He's in me,
and the fact that you've realized that is the start of you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because not everybody can admit that. They're like, oh no, there's no way I do.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that you have admitted it is, that's the first step of trying to figure how to not be so prideful or whatever sin that that you're dealing with.
Well, Jeremiah 26:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future.
I think that's 29:11. I think it's 29:11.
I forgot to say 11.
You're fine. Yeah, it's because that was actually the fact that you've written that down. It's pretty interesting because me and Gavin are actually doing a project with that verse in mind, and we're doing a little short film. Yeah, that's right. I teased it. I don't know if it'll be out by the time this comes out or not. I hope it would be. But I was looking. I was like, what verse is kind of going to get me through this time of it's the last summer and then graduation and all. And that just landed in my lap right there. And I was like, hey, Gavin, you want to try to teach somebody a verse, through a short film? Yeah. And that's what we kind of landed on. So.
Well, I like the last one because, golf, it's very up and down. Yeah. And it's hard to stick with it. And that's with life in general. And I think it's God has plans to prosper you, not harm you. It's okay. Amen. Just stick with it. Just wait. God's plan is better than your plan. Yeah. It's better to wait than just fire away at your plan.
Amen. Yeah. Love it, man. Well, that's all the questions I have, but, man, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah,
really
thanks for
enjoyed
having
this conversation.
Me.
And,
Me too.
you never know. We might have to do it again sometime.
Sure.
Yeah. With another episode of the Young Minds Podcast coming to a close, I just want to remind you that you are never alone and faith is action. So let's get out there.